But a lot of big people went to that island. But fortunately, I was not one of them.
It's just very strange for a lot of people that the list of clients that went to the island has not been made public.
Yeah, it's very interesting, isn't it? Probably will be, by the way. Probably.
So if you're able to, you'll be.
Yeah, I'd certainly take a look at it.
DOJ may be releasing the list of Jeffrey Epstein's clients. Will that really happen?
It's sitting on my desk right now to review. That's been a directive by President Trump. I'm reviewing that. I'm reviewing JFK files, MLK files. That's all in the process of being reviewed because that was done at the directive of the president from all of these agencies.
So what happened to the Epstein client list that the Attorney General said she had on her desk?
Well, I think if you go back and look at what the Attorney General said in that interview, which was on your network on Fox News.
Got the quote.
Go ahead.
John Roberts said, DOJ may be releasing the list of Jeffrey Epstein's clients. Will that really happen? And she said, it's sitting on my desk right now to review.
Yes, she was saying the entirety of all of the paperwork, all of the paper in relation to Jeffrey Epstein's crimes. That's what the Attorney General was referring to, and I'll let her speak for that.
What's going on, guys? Thank you for continuing to support the channel. I wanted to talk about this civil war, is it, brewing within the Republican Party? Now, a little bit after the election in November, it was funny watching people on the left argue with each other, point the finger, not knowing which direction their party was headed. And now we're seeing something similar to that with the Republicans. And I don't know if it's a great look. When Donald Trump has some of his biggest supporters upset at him, including Pat Bet-David, Megyn Kelly, and Tucker Carlson. Now, these are some of his biggest advocates. And what exactly did Trump do to get these people, along with almost half of the Republican Party, upset with him? The Trump administration recently released footage from outside of Jeffrey Epstein's jail cell. And they're saying that he deleted himself and that they don't have any client list. And the only thing that they have as far as evidence was inappropriate videos involving minors. They said that was it that they found. Now, personally, I do not believe that Epstein deleted himself. I don't care what Donald Trump, Pam Bondi, Kash Patel, Marco Rubio, J.D. Vance, none of them say pertaining to this. Okay, I believe that he had dirt on some very high up established people, and that's the reason why he was deceased. Now, why they're choosing to tell us the story that they're telling us, I'm not exactly sure, but I know that this has a lot of people on the base, the Republican base, the Trump base, upset. It even has people on the left, you know, like Harry Sisson and others, saying that maybe Trump is compromised in all of this, and that's why he's not exposing the list. If you do enjoy the content over here, I have over 300 videos over on my YouTube channel. So if you get a chance, go check it out. And if you enjoy the content, like the videos, make sure you're subscribed and drop a comment and join in on the conversation. I don't believe that for a second. Okay, I just don't. I think that if Trump's name was on that list and they had evidence of him on film and stuff like that, I think they would have already released it. Much as they've put Trump through the last 4 years, I think that, or 8 years, I think that if they had something that damning, that they would have exposed it. They might have even exposed it prior to the election. So I don't think it's that for a second. I'm seeing a slew of theories floating around online. Okay, some people are saying he's playing 3D chess and he has the client list, he has tapes, but you know, he's using it to dismantle the deep state. To a lot of people, this Jeffrey Epstein case was a big deal, you know, but for me, not so much. Now, what do I mean by that? In terms of the victims, I hope that they are all given justice. You know, if they have names, if they have whatever, I hope that all of those victims are given the justice for whatever atrocities that they faced at the hands of an evil man. I fully believe that. But all of this took place in the past. Epstein is dead. There's nothing I can do. All I can do is be focused on the present. And why did I vote for the president? The Epstein list for me was not at a top priority. Okay, the top things for me was the economy with the inflation, the southern border, which could have been directly tied to the inflation, the gas prices and things like that, grocery prices. Those are things that matter to me. Remember the price of eggs? When's the last time you heard somebody complaining about the price of eggs? I was concerned about the southern border being wide open, looking every single day at people just coming to this country with promises to them that they could get free health care, free child care, free education for their children, free housing. They get money to spend during the month. That's what I saw. That's what I wanted changed. And hey, don't make a mistake of this, people. If we had had the alternative in the White House right now, Kamala Devi Harris, if we had had her, do you think things would have been better or worse? People are burning their Trump gear, saying that he betrayed them because I guess the Epstein list was the biggest reason that some of these people voted for Donald Trump, which, I get it. But, I mean, how does that directly impact your everyday life? I get it that you guys want to see you guys want to see the curtains pulled back and everything exposed and everyone exposed. And I get it. And I'm right there with you. I would love to see that. But we have to worry about what actually matters right now. All right. And Trump is right. We just had that terrible flooding in Texas. Rest in peace to everybody out there, prayers for all of the families and all of the first responders out there working tirelessly for real. But this is not a good look for Republicans, especially when on the flip side, the Democrats when they're in power, they do not argue amongst each other. Joe Biden was in office for 4 years, and you would swear every single Democrat was united in everything that he wanted to do. Okay, he wanted to open the southern border. Democrats stood behind him. Shut down the Keystone Pipeline. Democrats stood with him. He wanted to raise our taxes. Democrats stood with him. When we all could see Dementia Joe was bumbling and stumbling, couldn't answer a question clearly, the Democrats still stood behind him. Even with his prostate cancer diagnosis, and prayers out for the former president Joe Biden with his cancer diagnosis. But they still stood behind him. They hid that from the American people for 4 years. Because you don't just wake up with stage 5 or stage 4 prostate cancer, okay? There's early signs. Then there's the onset. Then there's stage 1, stage 2, stage 3. It doesn't happen overnight. But Democrats all stood united. And that's what Republicans need to do. It's fine to fight behind closed doors. But when you have some of the biggest names in the conservative movement, Patrick Bet-David, Tucker Carlson, Megyn Kelly, given, that they are not big fans of this move.
There is a reason why people are asking about this. This is by far, and I'm a supporter. 3 times I voted for this man. This is by far the biggest fumble of the administration they've had thus far. And here's the reason why. If you remember the president winning, he had a conversation with Fox News, the great Rachel Campos Duffy, and she asked, Mr. President, 9/11, yes. John F. Kennedy, yes. Epstein, he didn't say yes. He was a little bit hesitant of bringing that information out. Why? So why does his leadership team go out there and are like, we have this information and we're going to release this and cash? And let me tell you what we have with Pam Bondi out of the state of Florida. She knew everything about Bondi, about Epstein. Why are you fumbling this? Why are you not having an emergency meeting together to conversate and say, hey, we're going to be on the same page with messaging on this. All you have to do is send a message to everybody, say, God, let's have a conference call. Here's what we're going to be saying about this, because this was a very important issue to not 80% of the voters that voted for President Trump, but I think 20% of the voters wanted to know what's going to happen with Epstein, and it's a big letdown.
I agree with Pat on this one. When you have all of these big names, Pam Bondi and the sort, coming out saying that they have this, that, and the third, pretty much giving the American public an edge session of what's to come. And then, nope, there's nothing, there's no list, we didn't find anything. I see how people could say that the Trump administration is fumbling, that this is probably one of their biggest gaffes to now, just because if they didn't want to announce it to the public, they could have just stayed quiet. They didn't have to say anything. But the fact that they kept on saying, yes, we have this information on Epstein. We did this. Pam Bondi especially, she's taking a lot of heat for this.
So let's just assess this logically. They're covering up, the DOJ, the current DOJ under Pam Bondi is covering up crimes. Very serious crimes by their own description.
Mm-hmm.
Why are they doing that?
Yeah.
So there are really only two potential explanations that I can think of. Maybe you've got another. The first is that Trump is involved, that Trump is on the list. They've got tape of Trump doing something awful. I don't believe that for two reasons. One, I've talked to Trump about it a lot, and I know him. He's not that, for whatever his sins. I don't think he's that guy, actually. I don't think he likes creepy sex stuff. That's just my view. But more, I think, convincing is that this is all information that the Biden administration had. And if there was evidence that Trump had been involved in illegal sexual activity, you think the people who made up Russiagate wouldn't have leaked it?
Right.
Come on now.
That's exactly what I'm saying. Biden had it. Okay, he would have never made it to election night. All right, right after the July assassination attempt failed, that would have been their next play. But they didn't have anything, from what I think, on Trump. Because what haven't they have used everything that they could possibly imagine to take down Trump. Why wouldn't they use something that was factual? Because it wasn't there.
Explanation that I can think of, again, maybe you've got another, is that intel services are at the very center of this story, U.S. and Israeli, and they're being protected. I think that seems like the most plausible.
That's the most obvious. I have a history of this. There have been multiple documented cases of inside of the CIA perpetrated by CIA officers, documented that in many of those cases, I believe over a dozen cases, this was a BuzzFeed news piece years back, where the CIA specifically did not want to prosecute those individuals in federal court for fear that they would reveal sources and methods if they were pulled into open court, and they basically just made it go away. The only time they actually prosecuted somebody was whenever he'd already being prosecuted for mishandling classified information.
Well, when they want to crush you, they put your computers. Why don't have a computer? Don't own one.
Tucker brings up a very interesting theory. Maybe some people are involved in this. Maybe some people in the deep states, these bureaucrats, some of these higher ups, some of these faceless entities within our government, maybe they're involved in it. What if, and I don't know, all of this is just theories, all of these, I'm just spitballing. None of these are just my thoughts. Okay, we just having a conversation. But there are people saying that maybe Trump is using the Epstein list as leverage to dismantling the deep state. I don't know. It's a hell of a theory, but I just don't know.
What kind of an attorney general would pretend she's giving new information to some of the president's most loyal advocates in the press, buying ink by the barrel? So either Pam Bondi knew she was about to embarrass some of his most loyal surrogates out there and did that willingly, or she didn't take the time to make sure.
Yeah, so what was this? Remember when they had a whole bunch of social media influencers and stuff come down to the White House and get these binders with Epstein information? What was that? Was this just a photo op?
Or what was in those binders? She was too lazy to actually figure out none of this is new. And yet she called a meeting with the influencers that included Kash Patel, the head of the FBI, and the sitting vice president. So she's either lazy and incompetent, or she willingly humiliated some of the president's most loyal supporters. Neither one of those is good, and that's why I'm sorry, but I'm going to predict her days are numbered as a member of the Trump administration.
Megan brings up a good point. Maybe Pam Bondi's days are numbered. Maybe she's, I don't know, maybe she's a little too nice for the Trump campaign, for the Attorney General. Maybe she's misinformed. Or maybe she's just lazy, because she's right. She did give the American Media Edge session on more than one occasion where they said that they have definitive proof or they have evidence. And then now, all of a sudden, there's nothing. There's no list. Epstein deleted himself. Ghislaine Maxwell is in prison for what? What did she do? At this point, y'all convicted her for this, that, and the third. Why is she sitting in prison? Okay, the people on the Lolita Express. I'm sure Jeffrey Epstein didn't fly the Lolita Express. Okay, so you have pilots, you have a flight crew. I'm sure that you have a airplane crew and maintenance either on Epstein Island or whatever airport they departed from. Nobody knew. Nobody knew a thing. Okay, everything that we were told about Jeffrey Epstein, poof, just like that, is done. Closing out, there are a lot of interesting theories taking place right now about what's going on behind the scenes as far as this Epstein list. Was there ever even a list? Are they lying to us? And if that's the reason, why are they lying to us? Is Trump compromised? Is his name on the list? And that's why he's destroying it. Because remember, Epstein, I guess now we can all say definitively, even though I don't believe it, deleted himself under Trump's watch in 2019. I believe it was. So he did that under Trump was the president. So if Trump wanted to hide something, now would have been the perfect time to do it, and possibly did it. Now he gets back into the White House. There's all of a sudden no list. I personally still support the president, and I'm rocking with him. Whatever moves he's making, he knows more than I do. What can I do? As much as I think all of those victims deserve justice, what can I do? I don't have no Washington, D.C., White House connections. I can't call up Trump right now like, release the list. There's nothing I could do. Okay, hopefully one day those people get their days in court, their justice. Hopefully one day all of these people that are involved in this sick type of activities are exposed, so that we can know them for who they truly are. And hopefully the deep state is not protecting them. But like I said, I'm still going to rock with Trump. I see a lot of people having a civil war within the Republican Party. I'm not going to call it a civil war all the way to that. But people are going back and forth in the Republican Party saying that they no longer support Trump, that they're done with him. He lied. You have a good amount of Democrats that voted for Trump in this election. Because remember, he wouldn't have won unless some people had flipped. Okay, if we're going by the Joe Biden 83 million numbers, then Trump wouldn't have won without them flipping. And you have those people and people in the middle and all of the like that are saying they feel betrayed by Trump. Now, I don't know what they could really do because this is Trump's last term. It's not like if he's running for president again. So, they already cast their ballots on November 5th, 2024, and that's already history. Thank you again for hanging out with me. I appreciate your time. Let me know whatever your thoughts are on this topic in the comment section. Till the next video, man, y'all please be safe out here.